A woman tries to escape a man who's been stalking her, but wherever she goes, he follows. She does what she must to end it, but that only makes the situation worse. She meets up with her high school friend, and the two use supernatural forces to solve their problem. This is part horror and part comedy, having an eerie feel throughout as the two women deal with a strange phenomena in such a matter-of-fact kind of way. Let's see how they make out. Elena and a stranger are having fun in the backseat of a car she's just hitched a ride in. After that, the guy asks if he can come over, and she says no, she has roommates. Elena evades his questions until he asks if she's ever lived alone. Elena says yes, and then begins her story about the time she hid out in her grandmother's trailer in the desolate desert near Santa Fe, New Mexico. The man asks why she had to hide, and Elena nonchalantly says because she killed someone. He asks who, and she recalls the whole story. Flashback to Elena texting while driving on a highway, completely oblivious to what's in the road. With a thud, a body flies over her car. Zoom through the parched fields of a New Mexican landscape to the trailer where Elena stayed after that. It's in the middle of nowhere. She's alone brewing a beverage and reading. As darkness falls, she lights grocery store spiritual candles. Elena channels the energy from them using an incantation. She is kind of a witch. Later, she is driving down the highway near her house. She spots her friend Benny staggering down the road. She stops and asks if he'd like a lift. He asks to be taken to the crossroads and gets in. There is something odd about this young man. Elena tries to make small talk, but he just sits there in a daze. There is nothing out there where Elena lives, save for farmland, snowy fields, mountains, and clueless cattle. While getting gas, Elena recognizes her high school friend, Jessica. She asks what she's doing here since she supposedly moved to California. Jessica replies she's on a road trip, but appears aloof about the details. What are you holding there, Jess? Looks like some dirty clothes? Elena invites her to the trailer to catch up. After turning the offer down, saying she must keep driving and taking off, she returns. They appear to be the only living souls in town. Jessica follows Elena home for some coffee talk. Later in the conversation, Jessica reveals that she left California to escape her stalker. She says he followed her to Santa Fe, so now she's trying to evade him here too. Elena offers for Jessica to stay in her spare bedroom, and Jessica thinks that's cool. They walk around the property and discuss how Jessica has tried everything, being nice, being mean. Her stalker just wouldn't go away. She even went to the police, but they said no crime had been committed. His name is Kevin, and she thinks she saw him in the same college class as her. They never dated, just said hello. But he got her name and now texts and sends her videos to her several times a day. He even writes strange letters that he puts into her mailbox. That's why she had to leave California. It had been going on for months. Now he's found her in Santa Fe, so she's driving to escape him. Late at night, through the whistling winds of the cold desert, Elena hears voices, shouting and crying in the distance. She opens the door and uses the flashlight to scout the vacant plane, but no one is there. She shouts out Benny many times, wondering if it's her friend whose brain elevator doesn't reach the top floor. But only the garbled noises in the night answer back. The next day, Jessica plays with the crystals and trinkets on Elena's altar. She slept just fine, not hearing any weird noises the night before. They agree to visit the ruins, and they explore the old structures and talk. Jessica notices a person spying on them as he stumbles through the passageways. She says it looks like Kevin, so they go another way. Later, Jessica shows Elena all the pictures, letters, texts, and video recordings Kevin sent her over the last few months. They are crazy. This guy conjured up this whole relationship with Jessica, but it's 100% one-sided. It's all in his imagination, but he makes threatening statements to her about what he'll do if she doesn't find a way to love him. He cries, tells her she'd better start returning his calls, and he wrote strange poems in his letters. In the videos he sends every few hours, he tells her he's coming to find her and he will prove his love for her. He does look like the weird guy from earlier. While Jessica is taking a shower, Elena sees a man standing outside the trailer screaming, "Jessica!" over and over. It's Kevin. Elena knocks on the bathroom door, telling her Kevin is outside. Jessica doesn't believe her and says that's not possible. But when she looks out the window, he's there, begging for her to come out. Jessica storms outside saying she's got to leave. Elena asks why that can't be her stalker, so Jessica opens her trunk and there's Kevin's body lying there dead. Well, that certainly changes things. Elena is slightly shocked and states, so that couldn't have been Kevin, that must be Kevin's ghost. Jessica jumps in the car saying, "I'm out of here," as Elena presses her to tell what happened. Jessica drives through the night with the corpse in her trunk. Every couple of miles, Kevin is yelling to her from the side of the desolate highway. He's flagging her down, calling her name, and reappearing out of nowhere. Headlights pull up from behind. It's Elena. She knocks on her window and utters, "You are not crazy. This is happening." If it were a cop and he smelled the decay, then Kevin could put in a good word for her. They go back and Elena lights some protection candles, stating that her grandmother was a mystic who had powers. She explains that when her husband died, her grandmother, being a romantic, put a spell on the property in order to reconnect with him and maybe have some date nights. Since then, the grounds have been haunted, having the ability to resurrect the dead, or so she thinks. I guess Jessica's attempt to ghost him went too far. She just wants to know how to make Kevin go away for good. Elena says, according to her grandmother, there are 3 ways to get rid of a ghost. It can leave willingly, it can be killed, but only by another ghost, and lastly, you can give it what it wants. And he wants her. Kevin is screaming and telling whoever will listen how Jessica never appreciated him. He gave her everything and can be there to take care of her forever, but she doesn't care. He keeps proclaiming his love for her and how she's so lucky to have him because he'll treat her right. Elena can tell Kevin is unaware that he's a ghost and thinks he's still alive. At sunrise, the annoying ghost is still there, all love-struck, and begging Jessica to be with him. He's going on and on and on. The girls realize they've got to stop it. Jessica peers out the window and he gets super excited. However, it is Elena who comes out to clarify his situation. She does a little ghost counseling, explaining that he doesn't know where he is or how he got there because he's dead and has become a ghost. Kevin refuses to believe that it's true and keeps walking back and forth, denying it and calling for Jessica. Finally, she tells him to touch her and he sees that his hand goes right through. Kevin is startled and confused by his new existence. Elena explains that only ghosts can touch other ghosts, so he can never touch Jessica. She states that any hopes of them ever becoming a couple are over. Now, he's got to move on. He's very upset that he can't ever touch Jessica, and immobilized at that notion, as though the meaning of his entire life is now over. Now, he's obsessing about how unfair that is. He wanders the fields, stating all the things he can't do with Jessica now. Then, Kevin has the epiphany. He can be with Jessica even more now that he doesn't need to sleep, eat, or even have a job. He returns to the house telling her he can talk to her even more now. Touching is not important. He'll never leave her side and spend the rest of eternity showing his love for her, now and forever. It seems their Kevin ghost problem just got a whole lot worse. Talk about clingy. Since Kevin would never leave, her next plan was to get another ghost to kill Kevin. Elena looks for names on headstones of people buried on their property. She finds the jawbone of David Burford and puts it on the altar. He is the ghost that will kill Kevin. So Kevin is still pacing around the field when Elena sees an old rancher looking kind of lost. She approaches him, calling out David, and the ghost says he's looking for his cows. She tells him that Kevin killed his cows. The two start to fight because Kevin thinks he's there to steal Jessica away from him. It's ghost-on-ghost combat, and Kevin kills the guy for a second time. Jessica, coming to the conclusion that this might be her only chance, finally goes to see him. She is honest and confesses to killing him with a knife on her porch. She asks if he remembers that happening, and he does. He shares how cold that was. She didn't care what pain he was in, and he was lonely, dying without anyone to comfort him. Jessica discloses that she felt the same way the whole time he stalked her. Kevin apologizes repeatedly and walks away. It's over. He finally listened to the truth. Elena and her bury his body and burn the letters. Jessica said she found no joy in killing him, but she had to. She returns to California and can finally remove those air fresheners from her car. Kevin stumbles down the road in a state of perpetual regret at hurting the one he loved. He bumps into Benny. He informs him that he's turned into a ghost. Benny is stunned upon learning his predicament. Kevin offers words of comfort to him, being that they both have a lot in common now. Kevin asks if he can join Benny on his journey down the road. They talk and decide they both can relieve each other's feelings of loneliness. While Benny is walking down the road, Elena offers him a ride. He's smiling and she comments on his high spirits. He tells her he has a new friend, Kevin. He tells her they are both ghosts. Elena knows that and asks him if he remembers how he died, but he doesn't. She tells him she hit him with her car by accident. Benny said no, it was on purpose. She asks him why, and he admits because he was alone. He had nobody. She drops him off to meet Kevin at the crossroads and watches. The two hug each other and talk and laugh. Then they both fade away. Later, we see the two ghosts walking off into the horizon. They comment that it feels good to have a friend. They don't know where they're going, but agree that they're moving in the right direction if they go together. The film ends with Elena thanking the driver for the ride and the lift and walking away. So what are your thoughts on this ghost story? Myself, I rather enjoyed it, but we want to know what you think in the comments below. And if you'd like to watch more from Movie Shortens, please click on the next video or the playlist on the screen. As always, thanks for watching.